Hello and welcome back to D.E.D.S, Dinner Every Day in September. If this is your first time tuning in, D.E.D.S is the sub-series I have as part of VEDS, Video Every Day in September, where I make cooking videos. Today is going to be a little bit of a different type of cooking video. I am going to be trying a recipe from this book, Forking Good, the unofficial cookbook of The Good Place, one of my favorite shows. Since this is a product that you can buy, I don't want to just fully ape their recipe. So this will not be like my other D.E.D.S videos where I show you the recipe step by step. Instead, I'm going to make the recipe and then while I do that, talk about these branded tie-in cookbooks and also, at the end, try the food, see if it's good. So this isn't as much of a tutorial, more of just like a overly complicated review of a recipe from a book that 90% of people will never read. Today I'm cooking macaroni and Socrates because all of the recipes in Forking Good have something to do with philosophy, since it's about the good place. Basically, macaroni and Socrates is macaroni cupcakes, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, it will make sense by the time I finish this video. So I've got to boil my noodles, I've got to make my cheese sauce, I've got to grate this Havarti cheese. Professionalism. It's what we do. So let's get to it. Okay, so these Fandom Cookbooks, you've probably seen them around if you are involved in any fandom. I have 3 of them, Forking Good, obviously, but I also have a Star Wars Holiday Special cookbook that my wife gave me a few years ago, and I believe it's called Watch What You Eat, or Eat What You Watch, which is by the guys who do the Binging with Babish YouTube channel. And that's not a specific fandom, that's just kind of any fandom. But there's ones for Dungeons and Dragons, there's ones for I think I've seen Star Trek. If there's not one for Miyazaki movies yet, that is a goldmine waiting to happen. And I think these are really fun fandom gifts in a way that, a lot of fandom gifts are kind of just plastic junk, which is fine. I have plenty of plastic junk in my office, but sometimes, you might want to give something that is not plastic junk. And I feel like these books are fun aspects of that. And I think they serve mostly as like fun pieces of merch more than they do cookbooks. This is my hot take, which I will get to a little bit later at the end of the video about cookbooks, but I think most cookbooks are just okay. However, I think that the experience of having this branded thing and cooking with it maybe in line with the thing. So like you have a Star Trek cookbook and you make a meal and you watch a Star Trek, right? Like that seems like a fun idea, but also I feel like the best ones of these have really good presentation. So the Forking Good one has recipes, sure, but it also has, before each recipe, a quote from the show that kind of ties into it. Then it talks about a philosophical concept. For Macaroni and Socrates, it talked about Socratic dialogues, and it gave an example of that about mac and cheese and like what's the best way to make mac and cheese. And it was a piece of macaroni arguing with Socrates. It was fun. I think it really leans into the same type of humor and character that the show has. Similarly, the Star Wars cookbook has commentary from this, kind of Globe Shadow-esque chef in the Star Wars universe, which can add just, some fun Easter eggs, some fun in-jokes. And they have Bantha Surprise, which is the meal that they cook in the Star Wars Holiday Special. I'll also get into this at the end of the video. I really like the Star Wars Holiday Special. I'm so happy that Disney has acknowledged its existence. Sorry, I'm just cracking up at thinking about the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's a comfort watch for me. It makes me very happy. So I think like the thing with most recipes, I guess this is my hot take. Recipes are okay. Recipes are a great starting point. And I like to stick to recipes because I like having like firm times and amounts of certain things. Some people, they just put a dish into the oven and then they come and they check on it when they feel like it. And I don't get that. That stresses me out. I like having a timer going and stuff like that. But I get it because, like, with seasoning, as you can maybe see here, with me seasoning this sauce, I don't measure out the seasoning. You know, I'll measure out like the milk and the flour and stuff. But when it comes to this paprika and mustard, I'm just going for it, man. I'm just like, let the Lord be my guide. What I mean to say is that recipes are a really good starting place, but I think where the fun in cooking comes from is adapting it. And so I'm sticking pretty close to the recipe from this cookbook, but I know that when I make this dish again in the future, I'm gonna change it up just because that's the fun of cooking. I've gone into official rambling mode, talking more about nonsense than I have talked about these fandom cookbooks. But here's what I'll say. Fandom cookbooks. If you got someone in your life who likes a Star Trek, I don't know why I'm harping on Star Trek because I don't know anything about it, but I find it fun to say do a Star Trek. So if you have a friend in your life who likes to do a Star Trek, but also likes to do a kitchen, maybe get them the Star Trek cookbook. You know, the really nice thing about wearing an apron is there's a convenient place to clip the lav instead of just bunching it to my shirt and praying to God it stays. So the macaroni and Socrates is ready to eat. Basically macaroni bites that are made in muffin tins. It's delightful. It's wonderful. It's really late, guys. I got impatient and I did not let them cool for long enough, so I took them out early, and they have fallen apart. But they will taste the same. So let's have a bite. This is delicious. I love this. I had some mac and cheese left over, and so while I was waiting for this to bake, I was just snacking on it, and I think it's a great recipe. I'd make the mac and cheese just, you know, sans the It's late, guys. Anyway, I think that if I could find a way to make sure that these like stay as uniform bites, I would serve this to people. I would take it to potlucks. I think it's great. But what is my final verdict on these branded cookbooks? I think they're fun. I don't think I've ever read one that has a groundbreaking recipe, but you know what? Most published cookbooks don't. Like, I'll be honest, most of the published cookbooks that I've flipped through aren't the wealth of recipes that you might expect. Most of those are like community cookbooks, like church cookbooks or family cookbooks, stuff like that, that have been compiled over many years and by multiple people and stuff. But these make fun gifts. They can enhance your engagement with a property, right? Like you could watch through all of The Good Place, and every night you could have a different recipe from this book. You could cook a bunch of stuff from the Star Wars cookbook and invite your friends over to watch the holiday special. I would do that. I don't think many other people would, but I would.
All together now, cooking can be fun. Stir, whip, stir.
Holiday special is great. So yeah, these are fun gifts. They're fun ways to liven up your life in the kitchen. And I will probably flip through and make maybe 10% of the recipes in this book. But I will read all the descriptions of all of them because, like I mentioned in my voiceover, there's a lot of fun philosophizing that goes into them. And I think the presentation is really good. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. See y'all later.